So I've been thinking about this video for almost a year, and every time I try to record it, I end up with a blank mind, basically. So just like when I'm trying to record a new song, I start with great enthusiasm, with great excitement, then end up in the studio, everything ready, recording, rolling, and I just leave the studio with no productivity. And it's really frustrating. And I've been trying to find a way to be more motivated or more inspired. And I question myself many, many times. Do I have too much gear? Am I being distracted by optimizing the studio and optimizing my videos? And it's been more than a year since I released my latest single, which was Nostalgia and Sand, that I released just in the beginning of 2025. And now here we are in 2026 with a lot of ideas that haven't seen the light yet. So, how can I make myself sit in the studio, do a very productive session of composing or recording, and at the same time manage life, day job, family, a child, and adapt to being in a new country, learn a new language, and just balance all of these things, juggle all of these things at the same time. It can be quite frustrating sometimes. And I don't know, where should I start? How do we become more motivated? How do we be more productive? How do we get past the writer's block? And more importantly, sometimes you have the idea, you have the riff in your head, and you have the art in your head, and you can do that, but you lack the dedication and the consistency. And I'm talking about myself here. I don't know if you're in the same situation. Please share this in the comments. Whether you're a musician or an artist, or in general, any human being can go through this lack of productivity, procrastination. It's something that is really important to tackle and to differentiate between being not motivated or uninspired and being actually not productive and wasting your time and distracting yourself. So many people talked about forming habits because the motivation can be momentary sometimes. It's a spark of inspiration. That's great. It gets you a new idea. It gets your creative mind going. But how do you keep going? So, in essence, we really need to develop habits, just like we have habits, to have a coffee every day at the same time, brush your teeth. I hope you do that. Take the garbage out. How do we form habits as musicians and as artists? I mean, we need to do consistent work. We need to do really step by step, baby steps. And now, as I've become a father and I look at my 10 months old and how he's developing slowly day by day, it's actually inspiring. And I learn like how these babies, they're born very fragile, barely moving or moving like robots in the beginning. Then, they start slowly turning their heads. Then they start a little bit trying to roll. Then they start rolling. Then they start doing 360s in their position. They crawl backwards in the beginning. Then they crawl forwards. They crawl on their tummies. Then they start grabbing onto things, trying to stand, falling, then standing again. What we learn from babies is that they are consistent, they are dedicated. Every day for them is a new challenge. They greet every day with the same curiosity to explore. The takeaway from this is just like children, their minds are like a sponge. They're absorbing, they're exploring, they have the curiosity, they are creative, they find creative ways to solve problems. We as artists, we need to embrace that mindset and be curious every day. We have to dedicate time every day to play the instrument, to get better at it, but also dedicate time to sit in the studio, look at the screen, and not just stare at it without doing anything. Just do the first step. As they have always said, a 1,000 mile journey starts with a step. And that's true. That's really true. Think about it. How many times you sit in the studio or you are supposed to jam with a musician and you just keep delaying and you just don't want to start. And then, if by any chance you start, you lose the time and you end up spending hours. Well, of course, when you have responsibilities in life, you cannot afford to do that because, yeah, those days are gone. I mean, at least for me, and it happens every now and then. But how do we make it uh, a healthy habit? We need to draw a line between this mindset, being in the studio or doing what you do, um, dedication of doing repetitive, boring work, but productive work, baby steps, and being inspired. Because sometimes for inspiration, you need this spark, you need the creativity. And this doesn't usually come with regular, habitual things. And I find myself guilty of that sometimes. Sometimes find that I am playing the same scales or riffs over and over and over again over, yeah. And this is coming from habits because I'm in my comfort zone and I am not actually uh, trying to challenge that. So challenging that comes from the search for inspiration. So there are two pillars: the the repetitive, consistent, stubborn work, and the curiosity to explore and push beyond the limits and push beyond the comfort zone. And sometimes it doesn't have to be something fully related to your craft, to the art that you're making, whether it's music or anything else. Sometimes you need to really just go on an adventure, go on a hike, go to the nearby park that you haven't even tried to explore, and you've been living in this place for more than 2 years. This is a note to myself. Yes, why not sometimes just go and explore things? Take a step back. Don't think about the music for now. Don't think about the answering the question. Just go out and do something completely unrelated, and you'll see that when you come back, sit in the studio or whatever your creative space is, you're gonna get inspired. And as a guitarist, I've noticed this many, many times. There've been like periods when I've been really away from the guitar for weeks or for days, and being busy with life or maybe traveling for work and not having an access to a guitar. And then when I get back and I pick up my guitar for the first time after this period, new music comes out. And this is the moment where I take my mobile out or hit the records button in my DAW and just capture the idea. And because it goes away sometimes if you don't capture it. But the hardest part is not this inspiration. The hardest part is actually what comes next, is how you don't leave this idea on the shelf like I do very often and start crafting, sculpting this idea into a finished piece, basically. So, this video is not meant to be a lesson in improvement or motivation, because this is something I am personally struggling with. I am really like trying my best to find solutions for myself first and for everyone who's watching. If you find this useful, I'm gonna dedicate time every day, maybe 30 minutes, just to play the guitar. Nothing else, just play the guitar. But on a condition that this will not be just doodling, because I'm gonna end up repeating myself again and again. Every day I want to sit for maybe 30 minutes, learn something new, or try a new riff. Okay? But then I have to do regular sessions, maybe not daily because life gets busy. I'm gonna do regular sessions where I actually sit in the studio, disconnect from the world, and have just one goal for the day. And the goal is to record a piece of the song. For example, today I'm gonna perfect this riff. The next day I'm gonna perfect the verse, the chorus, and all that. And yeah, a little word about perfection here. We should really stop chasing perfection, because now in this day of AI and all the perfection and quantization, all that stuff, we should really bring the soul back into the music. And big part of the soul of the music is actually being vulnerable and really doing things the way they've been done, and just let yourself fuck up and mess up. Just like what happened in this video when I lost the camera because I forgot to charge my camera. But it's okay. For now, if you've been watching this long, I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Consider subscribing to the channel. Drop a comment down below. Check my other videos and my music, and you can follow me on other socials: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And until next time, thank you very much. As always, enjoy the music, enjoy the journey, and see you soon. Cheers.